Hi, my name's Paul Wilson. I'm the creator of Swing Machine Golf and the director of the Paul Wilson Golf School at Bears Best Las Vegas. In this tip, I'm going to talk about the correct placement of the right hand on the golf club. Now, what I want you to do is pay close attention because I see so many people that do not have the right hand on in the proper position. So hopefully I can clear that up for you today and show you the right way to put the right hand on the golf club so that you can master that position. Okay, so why is the right hand important? Well, in a golf swing, in a right-handed golf swing, typically your left hand is the weaker hand and your right hand is the stronger hand. If you're a lefty, that's great. You've got a bonus, okay, because your left hand is already strong. I'm talking about the typical right-handed player. Their left hand is weak, their right hand is strong. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to weaken the strong hand and we're trying to strengthen the weak hand. Now, as we do that, the hands balance out one another and allow our wrists to swing freely in the golf swing. So what happens is people hold the golf club on in too strong of a position in their right hand, and that's because they're looking for power, or that feeling of power, to try and hit that golf ball as hard as they can. So when they do that, the harder they hit, the tighter the golf club becomes in the wrist, or tighter your wrists become, so that slows down the golf club, and the more open the club face becomes. Also, if you do happen to allow the wrist to turn over, if the hands are in a strong position, that rolls the face over and you end up in a closed position with the club and you end up hooking it. So not only does the strong position create shots that could potentially slice or spin off to the right, but that strong position can also create hooks as well. So we want the right hand on in a very balanced position so that it's not influencing or dominating throughout the golf swing. Now, if you know anything about my teaching method, I base my teaching on the Iron Byron swing machine. With the Iron Byron, it's only got one arm, and that's the golfer's left arm in the backswing, left arm through impact, then it becomes the golfer's right arm. So in essence, by weakening the right hand, you're taking that out of the picture and you're creating the firm connection of the left, which replicates the machine. So we don't want this right arm in there trying to do anything because the machine doesn't even have a right arm until after the ball's been hit. Okay, so hopefully you understand that. We're making a secure connection in the left and a weaker connection in the right. Okay, so how do we get this? Well, with your left hand, what we want to try and do is follow the video that I did previously about that left hand placement, or your top hand if you're a left-handed player. Okay, so with the left hand or top hand, we're putting this on in a position that the golf club is across our palm. I know people have talked about the club in the fingers. I want it in the palm because it's a secure position. If you look at this hand, it's going to go right across here, and to get that, we're going to do that by keeping the thumb against the side of our hand. So if we've got the thumb against the side of our hand, the club will fit perfectly across your palm. You don't even have to wonder where it's going to go. Okay, so thumb is against the side. We're going to take this hand and we're going to put it where our thumb is straight down the shaft of the golf club, or straight down the grip, just for a second. Now from here, we're going to turn the right hand a little bit to the right. That allows us to see two knuckles of this top hand. Okay, so we've got this hand on, this gap is closed, the thumb is slightly right of center, and you see two knuckles. Now, with our right hand, we're going to bring this hand in, and as we do, we want to look at the middle knuckle section. So what that means is we've got 1, 2, and 3 knuckle sections. I want you to be looking in the middle knuckle section. Typically, people are going to hold the club up here, because that's that position of strength I was talking about. We want to feel weak in this hand. So we're going to hold it in the middle knuckle section. So we've got our left hand on the golf club. We've chosen the grip we're going to use. And so now we're going to put our hand on. So as we bring it in, we're going to stop right in the middle knuckle section. We're then going to curl the fingertips like this. Now we're going to wrap this hand on top of our left, covering this left thumb. So left hand's on, we're coming in like this, now we're going to wrap it on top of the left thumb, covering it. And what that does is that creates this letter V right here. So that letter V is very important in your golf swing because that letter V is going to cradle the golf club once we hit the top of the backswing. So what that means is, as the wrist hinge, it's resting in that letter V at the very top. Okay, so I've taken my left hand position, my right hand wraps on top, I've got my letter V. I go up to the top of the backswing and the club is actually resting in that V. Now most people, they would hold on to the golf club with their right thumb straight down the shaft. If you do that, that's a strong position. You can see it's in my middle, or it's down towards my palm here. So that's a strong position in the strong hand, and the thumb is straight down. So when you do that and you take the club to the top, the club can't be hinging properly because what happens is you feel pressure in the right thumb right here. Because your body doesn't, or your mind doesn't like that pressure, it locks your wrists because when you try to hinge fully, you feel the pressure. Okay, so if I go to the top in the wrong position, I start feeling the pressure right about there. Okay, so what's going to happen is your wrists are going to lock and all of a sudden you can't hit the top of the backswing position. So you've probably heard about creating this V on the golf club between your right index finger and thumb. Now you know the importance of it. We're creating the V because the club is resting in that V at the very top of our backswing. Okay, so that's very, very important that we get that. So the whole idea is we're really wrapping this right hand on top of our left. Now, in that process, it is very, very uncomfortable. And again, that's because we're taking the power out of your stronger hand. Okay, if you feel kind of weak in that hand, you're not going to want to do that grip because you like that feeling of strength. The problem with the grip, though, in a strong position, remember, it's going to put you in a position of strength where you're trying to hit the golf ball too hard. Harder you hit, tighter your wrists, more open the club face becomes. Also, if you're in a position that you're trying to hit with the right hand, you're doing something that the Iron Byron is not doing. So we want to take this hand out or eliminate it from our swing by making it or putting it in a weaker position. Okay, so we've got our left hand on in position with our thumb slightly right of center. We come in with our right. We're holding it in the middle knuckle section. Then we're wrapping it on top of our left hand. Okay, so that's how to get the right hand on in position. Now, what I want you to be aware of is that your left hand on the golf club determines the position of the right hand. Now, this is very, very important that you get this, okay? Because if your left hand is on wrong, you will not be able to do the right hand position. So what I'm getting at is, if you take your left hand and the thumb is straight down the middle of the golf club, what's going to happen is when you go to put your right hand on, your right thumb is actually going to fit in this groove right here. So you can see the fleshy part of this thumb and your left thumb, they fit together perfectly. So if your thumb is out of position, in a one knuckle position here and the grip is straight down and you try to put this right hand on the golf club, your right hand is now in a very weak position. You can see that your V, or this line, is pointing left at the top of the back, or in the setup position. So if the thumb is here and you're trying to nestle that thumb in that groove, your right hand is on in a very weak position. Likewise, if you're in a three knuckle position with your left hand and your thumb is way over here and you try to put that thumb in that fleshy part right there, there is no way your V can get on top. So you're actually gripping on the side of the golf club here. So that's a real strong position in your strong hand, which is exactly what we're trying to avoid. Okay, so in order to get the right hand on in the perfect position, we're making sure that our thumb is just slightly right of center in a 1 o'clock position as we take our grip. If it's on in a 1 o'clock position, we're going to allow the right hand to nestle on there perfectly and create our letter V. Okay, so really be aware of that the placement of the left hand is critical to the placement of the right hand. Now, there's one other thing I want you to be aware of, and that's just the fact that when you do your grip, okay, and you go to put this right hand on in position, the pinky of your right hand is going to feel out of place. So that will add to the feeling of being uncomfortable with your right hand. Okay, so what we want to try and do there is we want to understand that this isn't about comfort of the right hand or the pinky. As you keep doing the grip, it is going to feel comfortable and you will get the right hand on in position. So what I'm getting at is, if you take your grip like this, what you don't want to be doing is taking your pinky and trying to get it way up here to get into a comfortable position. As you can see, I can't get my right hand on top of the golf club, but right there, that feels really good. This is especially true in people that do an interlocking grip. So they get their index finger and pinky really nestled in there together, but the problem is you can't get your right hand on top. So now the V's not in position, you take that to the top, and there's no way that that V is going to cradle your golf club. So we want to be sure that we're not trying to get this pinky way in here, okay? All that we're concerned with is the proper positioning looking down at your hands. So we've got the left hand on in position, we're holding the club in more in the fingers of our right, and then we're covering the left thumb, looking for this letter V being right on top. There's also another way to check it, and that's that this line and this line are parallel, pointing between our right ear and shoulder, okay? If your lines are all off, there's no way you're doing the right grip. Okay, I know that was a lot of information, but it's very, very important that you get the right position in the right hand or the bottom hand grip. Okay, we're trying to weaken this hand so it wraps on top a lot better. Balances the hands out and allows the club to swing freely throughout our swing. Okay, so we're holding the left hand on in a secure position, a two-knuckle position across our palm, fingers of the right wrap it on top. Okay, no matter how uncomfortable that is, keep doing it, and finally you will master the right hand position. Make sure you ask your questions or put your comments below, and I'm more than happy to answer them.